Sound cool?
Pretty fancy to me.
All right. The first game is Elder Scrolls Online, which is coming out possibly around March-ish, I think some people think. Late March or the month after that. Somewhere around there. Maybe April or something. Anyway, obviously, Elder Scrolls Online is going to be set in the Elder Scrolls world. It takes place during the Second Era. This is way before Skyrim, okay? This is like in the early days of the world and such. It's set around a...
Before the guard took an arrow to his knee, huh?
Yes, it is before the guard took an arrow to his knee, exactly. Exactly. He
was still an adventurer.
He was. Just around this time. It's set around 3-faction warfare. So instead of Horde and Alliance, you got Horde and Alliance and gang. They're all fighting it out. 3 factions battling it out. Now, all of the races are available for all factions, and I believe all of the classes are available to all the factions. So there's nothing exclusive to one or the other. It's just whatever you feel like floating your boat with at that point in time. Its combat system is designed around, you swing, just like Skyrim. You swing to connect. You'll pull your bow back to fire to connect and such. I believe anyway about that. I'm not so sure about the magic and such, how that works. But I do know that from playing and other things, it's all about swinging. Like Conan, if you guys ever remember Conan, that MMO, it plays a lot like that. As far as I can tell, there are 4 classes. There is Dragon Knight, which is the warrior-ish. There's Nightblade, which is a rogue. There is Sorcerer, which is like a mage. And then Templar, which is like your paladin. Max level of 50. PvP is designed in, you have the entire world to run around in. But the center of the map, this is like where we played in Oblivion, where you're playing in Cyrodiil, I guess, where the... Imperial City was, that's the PvP zone. Siege towers, siege equipment, kind of like a la Guild Wars 2 like. And all 3 factions kind of meet in the middle there and fight each other. And apparently, yeah, the world map is fairly large, apparently. Everything else, like you can think of, your typical... dungeon exploring is there, all with that Elder Scrolls spin to it. Every little thing you can open, like every little vase has some kind of piece of dirt in it that you can collect or something. I don't know. So they just had their first beta, closed beta, which everyone, you can't really talk about it, but it pretty much went without a hitch. It sounds like they had a pretty successful thing, but this is not a pay-to-play. I'm sorry, this is not a free-to-play game. This is pay-to-play. This is $15 a month to play this game. So, my question to you guys, and we'll do this kind of clockwise. So, looking at my screen, Krad would be first, but he's not here yet. So, Luna would be first, and then Kaz, you can go ahead and chime in after that. So, are you interested, Luna, is the question.
Yeah, I am definitely interested in this game. I thought it was going to be like most MMOs, how it's, monthly, where it's extremely expensive, but $15 is actually really cheap for a game like this.
Okay. What about you, Kaz?
Not particularly. Hear me out on this. I may be a little bit older than some of your audience. Being in my 30s, played a lot of MMOs over the years. This just really doesn't seem like it's adding anything to the genre. I mean, their own developer, when hyping this game, was hyping the fact that you can play it in first person. When you have to reach to that as your big innovation into the world of MMOs, I don't think it's worth $15 a month. I must say, though, let me get this out of the way. I was never a huge Elder Scrolls fan to begin with. Not my favorite series. I recognize that it's a very, very popular series, but yeah, this The online MMO just not doing much for me, especially when there's some other games in that genre that look a little bit more impressive and are actually going to be using the free-to-play model.
Yeah. You're right. I do understand that a lot. The free-to-play model seems to be taking off massively. So, $15 a month for a game that is pretty much selling itself as we are Elder Scrolls, buy us. I don't know how long that's going to work for them, because at the same time, like Star Wars, The Old Republic billed itself as a Star Wars game. Pay $15 a month for us, and that didn't work out for them. Just because they were Star Wars didn't mean people went out in droves and paid that monthly subscription. You'll get them to buy the game, but I don't think you can keep them to paying that $15 a month. I also agree that this is going to probably end up being something that eventually goes free to play. That's what my gut tells me. I think that's where it's headed. Oh, and just so the chat knows, because I didn't introduce, because I'm a noob host. This is Kazook, lifelong gamer and good friend of mine, real life friend. That's what I consider him. Even though we've never really met in person. And Luna.
We've gamed together for the better part of a decade now.
Luna is someone new to the scene from the stream. Y'all know the legendary episode 3 of DayZ that introduces Luna, but I invited Luna tonight. I would like to invite, I'd like to invite people from the stream to join us in Game Talk, whenever we do it. So, welcome Kaz, welcome Luna. And Krad is supposed to be here, but he's running late. He's got family, so. But yeah, I completely agree with you guys. Well, I mean, on one hand, Luna, I agree with you because I'm excited because it is an Elder Scrolls game, and I'm probably gonna buy it simply because I'm excited about the idea of their open world kind of PvP. At least I think it's open world, but I'm not 100% certain yet. There's not a ton of information about that just yet, but it seems like it's kind of going for that open world feel where.
I'm just looking forward to tasting your tears of disappointment.
Yeah.
It'll sustain me.
There's very strong possibility that it's going to be a massive disappointment, but I'm still going to get it. Still going to check it out. And I wish them luck, but I do think it's going to go free to play. Probably, what do you give it, Kaz? A year?
If that. Like you said, Star Wars had all the hype. Yeah. Old Republic had all the hype in the world, and despite what some people say is actually a pretty decent game, and it went free to play.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like crazy trying to reinvent the wheel like our next game that we're going to talk about does. This is probably my biggest excitement, even though I still don't know quite what the hell it is. And that's EverQuest Next, and EverQuest Landmark. Now, I do have a little bit of information for you guys, because I don't know if some of you saw it, but there was a new trailer that came out there explaining EverQuest Landmark as opposed to EverQuest Next, which has really been confusing the piss out of people, right? EverQuest Landmark is their open world sandbox. Now, I got to give credit to Kaz here, because he and I played Star Wars Galaxies way back in the day, when it first came out. And then when we left it, when we finally walked away from it, of course I didn't know him then, surprisingly, but when we finally walked away from it, and we were playing WoW together, he said to me that they would never make a game like SWG for 10 years. And he was right, because here it is. This is the first SWG game they have made, and is practically a little over 10 years later. This is what EverQuest Next is. Build where you want, do what you want, however you want to do it. Landmark, however, is going to be a pretty much open world building game. That's the best way I can describe it. It's going to have some monsters to kill. It's going to have some other things to it. I think they're kind of just rushing this part out. I think the way they're describing it is that EverQuest Landmark is going to also eventually turn into EverQuest Next. Through our actions. Like they're almost giving us the game engine to play with, the building engine of it. and to play with it however we would like, build the stuff that we want, and goof off in it, and then that will evolve into EverQuest Next itself. That's kind of the message that I'm getting from them regarding this landmark EverQuest Next mass confusion from everybody. Like I said, the landmark is an open world sandbox, a lot like SWG, the way they describe a point system, leveling up perks and stuff like that. Don't know what races and classes. Landmark is going to be a free-to-play model. And are you guys interested? Kazook first. What do you think, man? Does this wet your whistle, buddy?
Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely be playing this. EverQuest Next. It literally, really, if it can pull it off, can be truly next gen. Now, I was a little disappointed a few months back when they announced kind of the split between some of their features. So integration between Landmark and the game itself is something I'm still curious about. It sounds almost like they could be using a model where the developers will choose what they like that players make and actually implement that in the game, which that would be cool itself for EverQuest Next. Because one thing that, and I hate to go back to the 800-pound gorilla, but one thing that I hate that WoW did, and we played WoW for years, is that every MMO is so static these days. Completely static. It's a theme park. You go on a ride, and that ride stays the same pretty much forever. Now, they revamped WoW a few years ago, but it's just like overhauling your theme park. It's still a theme park. So something that can truly evolve with time is something that I'm really, really looking forward to. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be good. And one thing that's not being talked about, the engine that it's using is the same one they used for PlanetSide 2. I don't know what type of numbers they're looking at, but one thing that PlanetSide or Sony does not get enough credit for is PlanetSide 2's game engine is amazing. Just from the fact that I've never played a game with 300 people on screen and not even the slightest hint of lag or stutter. It's pretty impressive, so I'd like to see if some of that's going to make it over to EverQuest Next. If you can just have mass amounts of people, it'd be pretty cool.
What about you, Luna?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in this game as well. One thing that I saw in the trailer actually is something that is a thing you don't really see in most MMOs, and I saw that you had a fully destructible world. So there's going to be constant changes in the terrain around you, and you can use that terrain to your advantage. And I think that's just a really cool idea.
Yeah, that is one of their major things that they're billing about EverQuest Next, is that it is really a heavy focus on destruction and building. It's just, they're really taking a leap of faith there. Most developers, they don't want to risk doing that stuff. So they won't make these big, scary changes to the classic formula of MMOs. They're too afraid to do it. But these guys are like, whoa, we see the success of Minecraft. We see the success of still WoW. We see the success of all these crafting and survival games and stuff. So let's make our own open world sandbox. Took 10 years for this stuff to come back, but here it is. And now we're got another MMO that's going to let you completely alter the terrain, like you see in the trailer here. They're completely changing the terrain. You can build almost any way you want to. I mean, of course, any game that lets you do this much control, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with the griefers. People that just want to go around
that's
putting dicks everywhere,
that's definitely going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Oh, and I noticed you also can cover mountains in snow.
Yeah, you can do lots of crazy stuff in this game. I mean, you can build your own player house. I mean, back when me and Kaz played SWG, all you did was you bought a house and then you plotted it down. And with this, you can actually design it any way you want. You can cut out little circles for windows.
I'm almost ashamed to admit that in SWG, I probably spent as much time decorating my house as I did going out and adventuring.
Yeah.
Shameful, actually.
But I think that was one of the nice draws of the game. And Not to talk about SWG. Those guys freaking butchered that game. But it'll be interesting. I think EverQuest Next needs to worry a lot about what is Landmark and what is EverQuest Next, and clearly make it clear to everyone why should we play Landmark and how does that translate to EverQuest Next. I still am not completely certain of what those two represent to one another. I don't know if Landmark is like the alpha. It's almost like, sounds like it's like an alpha that will turn into EverQuest Next, or is it something that's going to be standalone forever and never have? Why would you ever play Landmark once EverQuest Next comes out? I still don't quite understand their connection between each other, and I don't think a lot of people do. They haven't done a good job of explaining that quite yet. But does anybody else have anything else they want to say about EverQuest Next before we move on?
Yes, I mean, the connection. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for people always talk about, I'm tired of WoW, I'm tired of WoW, I'm tired of WoW, I'm tired of the same stale old thing. If people really want MMOs to evolve, at least give this a shot. It may not be great. I mean, SWG, as we talked about earlier, was supposed to be like the most mind-blowing MMO of its day 10 years ago. And it was, utter crap for like 2 years. So this may flop and be terrible, but for those players who really, really talk about wanting something different, showing this game support would be a pretty big thing. Pretty big thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Luna.
And I was just going to say, my theory may be that the connection between the two would be Landmark is a free-to-play version, that it'll be all the time free to play, but it won't have all the features implemented, and for that you have to buy EverQuest Next.
Yeah, maybe that's probably true. I definitely agree with Gaz. This is a game that you should support. If you want more cool stuff like this, support this game. They do have an ability to buy into the Landmark Alpha right now, and that's going to go. It's gonna activate sometime at the end of. What is it? I think at the end of this month, actually. And I think they said within 9 days, and that was 3 days ago, that they'll go ahead and open up Landmark for people to play in. So, I think you pay like $30 to get into it, and then you get early access. So, check it out if you're interested. All right, we're gonna shift gears here now to another interesting game that is kind of sneaking up. I've been noticing people have been playing it, and this is WildStar. WildStar is a sci-fi based MMO. What else would it be, right? So, this is, let's see. It's cartoony graphics, a lot like World of Warcraft. It does not take itself very seriously. It is got a lot of comedy added to it. 2-faction PvP system. And there's a little confusion here. There's like 2 things you can build. One, they have player housing. You go out and you get your plot of land, you plop it down, you can build whatever house you want, put your trophies from your adventures in there. And number 2, some kind of weird like PvP looking fort that I think you can build. Now I don't know if it's PvP based or if it's just PvE. I'm not quite certain on that. 6 total classes. They have paths, which are like professions, like from Warcraft, but they have a lot more action to them. So you might be an explorer who goes around, exploring, and that's your profession. The business model sounds like EVE Online. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with EVE Online, right? You can pay a monthly fee to play, no problem. You just pay that monthly fee, and I don't know how much that's going to be yet. You pay it and you go. Or you can establish yourself as a character in the game, and you can earn something called creds, and then creds can be used for either in-game playtime or to sell for real-world money. One or the other. And that's exactly the same business model that EVE Online follows as well. Exact same thing. So I guess my question to you guys, I don't know how much you've heard of this game, but it does seem like it's got a lot of PvP focus and a lot of quirky, fun, goofy gameplay. And you can see there he's building a fort. And I don't know if this is PvP related or if it's just simply environment. But I would be curious to know what you guys think. Are you interested in this MMO? I've been seeing it everywhere on Twitch. And Kaz, you can go.
One thing you did not bring up that I think is important when discussing WildStar. The publisher is the murderer of MMOs. Will this game even get a realistic chance? NCSoft, who, as you know, Burke, I loathe after those bastards took away my beloved
still
City
mad
of Heroes.
about City of Heroes, yeah.
Special place in hell for all of them. Anyways, save Paragon City. Anyways, I digress. The game itself does look interesting. It really does. But, and it's not just the COH thing. They have shut down more MMOs than any other publisher. If it doesn't meet expectations right off the bat, this thing will be killed within 6 months to a year. And it's a shame because I really do think it is a very interesting looking game. And it is something I'm probably going to try out, despite me saying in the past that, I'd rather cut my balls off than play an NCSoft game after what they did. I may go back on that and give this a whirl. But, I mean, that is a big concern. It really, really is.
Luna?
I actually don't see this game being on my list of games to purchase. I don't know. I haven't heard much about it. Maybe if I research it a little bit more and find that it looks like a good game, maybe I'll purchase it. But as of right now, I don't really know about it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't think it's gotten nearly as much fanfare as, like, Elder Scrolls or EverQuest Next. It might just be getting swept under the rug there because of all their all those other games that are, because Elder Scrolls is the big name and EverQuest Next is the big innovation, and of course then there's Warlords from World of Warcraft coming out. That WildStar may not have enough of a fan base to pick this game up and actually give it a solid try.
Now, bear in mind on WildStar, like it's a startup studio that NCSoft basically bought out. Right after the studio started. The founding members, though, are all old school Blizzard guys. We're not talking Diablo 3, first we made it impossible and then we doubled it, lol, Blizzard. We're talking like old school, really, really good Blizzard developers are the ones that founded Carbine Studios. So I think it is going to be a good game, but I think being that it is NCSoft, at least in Europe and America, it's going to get zero advertising, the only push out on this is word of mouth right now, and I think it will get buried. And 6 months to a year, it will, you won't be able to play it in an American or European market.
Yeah. Okay, well, can't argue with that. So let's talk about that big gorilla. Then is World of Warcraft. And what it is bringing to the new market here. So, World of Warcraft.
That game yet?
Nope. Yep. Still going strong. I think the only people who will ever leave Warcraft is when the servers are forcibly shut down. Here's the main features. I mean, other than the rinse and repeat, new dungeons, new raids, new loot. That you always get from the expansion. They're updating the World of Warcraft player models, the orcs, the trolls, all that stuff, the humans. They're all getting kind of brought up to today's standards in a cartoony world-ish type thing, I guess. And I don't know quite yet if this is just their version of player housing or if this is some kind of PvP fortress, but they are bringing in fortresses or garrisons, as they call it. You construct it, you design it, you hire NPCs to run it, you go out on quests to serve your garrison, all that stuff that you could, that sounds cool. It really does. And they are even talking about past accomplishments being shown in your home, or I guess it's whatever in your garrison, in the form from a past achievements. Like if you killed Ragnaros, you get the Ragnaros statue, and it's dated or something like that. I suppose that's where they're going with. To a lot of people, living the World of Warcraft or Warcraft, I'm sorry, history. Playing through the history of that is very appealing. Like Durotan's going to be in it. Gul'dan, Ner'zhul before he became really freaky as the Lich King, and all that history from Warcraft 1 and 2 will be right here in this expansion. And they are offering, they said, a new revamped massive player versus player zone, some kind of jungle or something that's going to be an all-out battlefield. So my question is all this enough to make you return? And I'll ask you first, Luna. Or if you've never played before.
I've never gotten into World of Warcraft, and I don't think I ever will, to be honest.
So none of this is just kind of like, I don't care. To you, as far as you're concerned. What about you, Kaz?
I remember.
Go ahead, Luna.
You really asked me about Warcraft, really?
Yeah.
Look, I know we hate on it, and it's fun to hate on WoW. My take on WoW. WoW was an amazing game for such a long time. I have done everything in that game from being a casual noob to being on the cutting edge, of rating. We're talking, top 10, top 5, DKs back in the Lich King expansion, worldwide on some of those raid bosses. So I've played it from the ultra hardcore to the completely casual. Then I just couldn't imagine them adding anything to that game, making me say, hey, I want to go back and play World of Warcraft. It's old, stale, let it go.
So your answer is no. And Luna's is,
It seems like it's dying out right now.
It's old.
Well, because I have such history involved in Warcraft, I'll definitely be coming back. I can't help it. I want to build my own house. If that's what it is, I want to build it. I want to put stuff in it.
Aren't you going to be honest with your viewers, sir? Just say it because I'm a whore. That's all. That's all you have to say. I'm a whore.
I'm a WoW whore. Yes, I am. I admit it. Can't help it, man. They're gonna have the new character models. They're gonna look cool, and I'm excited again. So I know Krad. Unfortunately, he's still not here, but he's already playing the damn thing, and to get ready for this expansion. So I definitely know his answer is yes. What was that?
Yeah. Maybe when he gets here, he can enlighten us on his
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Hayes will come back, and I already know what Damon's going to come back playing it, and I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to have a lasting power? No, because Warcraft is old, and it's constantly going to lose people, but it's also going to constantly retain people who never want to play anything else. The big thing about Warcraft is the damn esports to keep people coming back. Those arena battles that really get people fired up.
I'm amazed you still talk to me after I treated you during our arenas back in Burning Crusade. I drove him to tears at least twice.
Was it in Burning Crusade?
Were there harsh words thrown around, or what happened?
No, I thought we did. Which one arena you mean? You mean like the tournament that we did?
No, the tournament where we waxed you. No, I'm talking about when we were twos partners.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was awful times. I remember venting. Many days of venting. All good, though. All fun games. All right, well, let's shift on to something else that's probably what I think, and I think a lot of people think, is one of the most ambitious games, and that's Destiny, which is being done, obviously, by the guys that brought to you Halo. Destiny is their big, ambitious project. You're talking about a multi-planet, persistent world that carries on even when you're not playing on it. Co-op is its big push. They want you to work together and trying to accomplish goals. But I'm sure they're going to have that PvP element. Probably not in the form of open world, which is what some people would like. But they're going to have like matches of some sort or something like that. I don't exactly know yet about the PvP. But Destiny is, they created a brand new engine called Gornok. That's an interesting name. And it has a campaign that spans multiple planets, and you can visit any of these planets anytime you want to. Don't know exactly how big those planets are, but they imply that they're going to be quite large. And obviously it's going to have all the crazy guns. And what I really liked from the Bungie guys was what they said is that their first goal in this game, or any game, is to make an interesting world. That's their first goal. Before anything else even hits the table, you have to have an interesting world. Would you want to be in this world? Do you like the idea of this world? Does it look fun and interesting? And they're trying to do that from multiple planets, on all these different things, constantly online, constantly interacting with other players. I guess the question is the same question everyone keeps asking over and over again. Kaz, is it too ambitious of a game?
I don't think so. I think Bungie truly is a grade A developer, and I know Halo had kind of, some people have thought maybe fallen off towards the end. I think a new IP, something along, something new for these guys to sink their teeth into is just what the doctor ordered, so to speak. And it's early. I know it's early, but this is something that's, if they pull this off, it's going to be one of those landmark titles of this gaming generation, if it's pulled off. And it's Bungie. I don't have reason to doubt them. I think they're going to do a hell of a job with it. I'm still a little bit murky on how like the massively multiplayer portion of it's going to play out. Like you were talking about, I want to see how from what I understand, like, you share the world with people you're matched with, but the world is continuous while you're offline. So I want to see more details about that. But just look at this trailer. That looks gorgeous. Looks absolutely gorgeous.
It really does. What do you think, Luna?
I'm always a huge Halo fan. I've played Halo 1 back on the original Xbox all the way up to today's Halo 4. Not sure if I'm going to get Halo 5 or 6 because of the 343 team. I don't think they're doing a really good job with the Halo series. I think they should have kept Bungie. And this game that Bungie is actually developing looks really interesting, and it kind of has that Borderlands look to it as well, which I'm a huge fan of Borderlands as well.
Yeah, well, they implied that Borderlands was a pretty good inspiration for the design of this game as well, without the, cartoony look of Borderlands. But no, I don't think it's too ambitious either. I don't know why people keep saying that over and over again. I mean, PlanetSide 2 was that too ambitious? And they pulled that off pretty well. But somebody in chat said it is like PlanetSide 3, and I get that, except without the PvP element, it's all like one giant level. You got to think it like that's how graphical the game is on every section of the map of the planets. They're like as detailed as any level in any game, like a small Call of Duty map or something. They are putting detail in every inch of this game. So it'd be interesting to see how well it does. But one thing I always stress this every time I talk to people, and the game publishers never understand this. Like EA, I'm not shitting on EA, but just EA, Activision, and all these other guys. The people who make these games are artists, okay? And if you have a guy who's doing these paintings and everyone's loving his paintings, right? And he's selling those like hotcakes because he's such a great artist. And then you fire him and you bring in some other guy and say, hey, paint exactly like that guy painted so we can keep selling this stuff at a cheaper rate. He's not going to be as good as the original artist, the guy that knows what he's doing. And that's how I think these games are. The Bungie crew is making Destiny. They made Halo what it is, and I'm pretty certain that Destiny is going to take over that spot. You Halo fans are going to start coming to this game instead of Halo. I mean, there'll always be the
I know I will.
Master Chief fans. I know that, but These games are works of art, and this is their next masterpiece right here. It looks beautiful, like Kaz said. You guys got anything else?
This will be like, yeah, this will be my reason for buying a PS4. Honestly, like I never buy systems like on launch day just because of the fact the AAA titles usually take 6 months to a year to appear. This is the game that's I'm first looking forward to on playing on PS4.
Yeah, same here. I can't wait for like getting everyone together in a game on this. Luna, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? All of us working together in this.
That would be amazing.
That's why I like what we're doing.
That's another aspect of it that's overlooked. Co-op is a blast when done right. I'll be real quick, but Burke, I think Mass Effect is my favorite gaming series of all time.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the multiplayer in Part 3 was outstanding. I didn't even play it till after I had played through the game like 2 or 3 times as an afterthought, and it was amazing because it was co-op with friends fighting a common goal. This obviously would be on a much larger scale, but like for those who didn't play the multiplayer of Mass Effect 3, I mean that was a blast playing with your friends actually in a co-op in a shooter environment. So I'm really excited about that aspect of it for Destiny, and plus somebody needs to carry your ass. So.
Really?
Well, Brooks just sits back and heals everyone.
That's right. If I can find the healing class, that's what I'm going to do. If they even have such a thing in this game, I don't know. But really, Kaz, so Final Fantasy VII has finally been dethroned for you.
Yeah. I really love the Mass Effect series. And I've seen in comments, yeah, Mass Effect. Believe me, I'm like a crack addict, like searching Google News for any tidbit on Mass Effect 4 that I can get.
That's good. That is good. All right, so there you guys have it for Destiny. All right, so now we'll talk about the next big thing that came out. We talked about this in the last one, but DayZ finally got its standalone release. Yay. So, as of right now, DayZ is, it's not as well developed as its mod counterpart, and that's to be expected. This is an alpha, obviously. He's just released it. You're giving the guy money to say, hey, please continue making this better, and that's what these alphas are for. So, pretty much as the game stands now, you spawn in, you get your loot, then you go out and you hunt other players, and that's pretty much the main draw of DayZ. Is it's more just like Walking Dead. The players are more of a threat than the actual zombies in the game. Now, I guess my question is what would you like to see them add to DayZ? Because right now it does get a little stale. Obviously, there's no vehicles, there's no other things to do except you go on, you collect some loot, and then you go out and you pretty much are hunting other newbies because fighting other players is kind of a tough, who have guns is a very quick ordeal. one shot and you're dead pretty much. So yeah, I mean, what like Luna, what do you think he should add to this game? What would you like to see added to DayZ to make it more interesting for you?
Well, besides the cars, of course, and the base building that he's most likely going to be adding, I would like to see some sort of maybe warfare on the water, some sort of naval battles, or some maybe islands where you could build a base and you could go to those islands, you could get on your ships, boats, rafts, and just start raiding other islands with these big bases on them. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
And what do you think, Kaz? What would make you buy it tomorrow if they release something to it?
I don't know. Part of it, like, my only concern is like DayZ's been out as a mod for quite a while now. Is there still going to be a demand for it when it finally is released as a standalone? As far as what would make me want to play it more, probably Yeah, something like water, or more of everything. More of everything, really. Like, expand the gameplay elements. Like, if DayZ as a standalone is just a better running version of the mod, what have we really accomplished? What's the point in playing it? I don't know. I'm actually not as optimistic about the standalone DayZ as most are. I don't know if it's going to be even the hit that the Arma 2 mod was, but we will see. We will see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Obviously, I would want to. I think the price of it is going to go up to $60 once it's complete. Once Rocket thinks that it's done, the price is probably going to jump up to $60 because it sits up there for a long time in that number one spot, and it's just. I think people really love this survival genre. It is just exploding. People love the idea of fighting to survive and how long can I make it? And I told people a long time ago, if you're going to play DayZ or any of these survival games, you need to not be the kind of person that gets balls mad if you die, because this game is not going to be kind to you at all. You're going to end up committing suicide or murdering a small white kitty or something. I'm telling you. These games are not for you.
Had it coming.
Yeah, you could spend 10 hours running and getting all the loot that you would want. Finally find that perfect backpack that you've been looking for, and then some guy comes around the corner and pops you in the back of the head with an axe, and you're like, mothers, That's DayZ,
or you fall
though.
off a ladder.
Or you fall off a ladder. Yeah, Luna knows all about that. But yeah, I do want to see something to fight for other than just fighting players. Right now, the only thing to do is collect loot, like I said, and then go find people to pick on. So there needs to be something like base building added to this game, extremely. Gathering parts for vehicles like they had in the mod. Maybe group identification, like maybe we could make our own color dyes for our armors and stuff like that. That would be cool. Various things like that I think would be interesting. Just give us more tools to make the game more ours. And,
more sandbox elements.
Yeah, more sandbox elements. Yeah, just it's already perfect with the player versus player aspect. You can't trust anybody you run into in this game, and that's great. That's what sells it. So, yeah, I think more sandbox elements, like you said, that would be just perfect. Anything else before we move on?
They need to add pirate hats.
Yeah, we could all do stand for some pirate hats, I think. Yeah, and like Legendary said, handcuffing people was pretty awesome. I don't know if you can do that, Cass, but to heal yourself, you have to get a blood donation. Like, that's the only way you can heal.
Yeah.
So you got to go find somebody, handcuff them, take a sample of their blood, and then drain them. All the while they're begging for their life, Oh, please don't shoot me. It's been 6 hours to get this backpack. That is the cool part of this game, I admit. But it was dethroned, ladies and gentlemen. It was sat on the number one top spot for a long time, and it just recently got dethroned by none other than
and I wonder
Rust.
what that game was.
Rust overtook it. Now, if you don't know what Rust is, let me be clear about it. It is a home invasion simulator. That is the game in a nutshell.
Accurate.
This is very accurate description. This guy is the guy who made Gary's mod. So everyone knew that his next game was going to be very interesting to make. So he pretty much gives you the tools and you just play in the world. What you want to do in that world is completely 100% up to you. So you're handed... you start with a rock and your job is to go out and gather and build. You could go from a rock to a massive epic fortress that you completely design yourself. Your job, you don't have enough inventory slots to hold everything, so you got to go out there, gather things, put them in your house, lock it up nice and secure. When you spawn out, when you go to bed at night, like say you're done playing, boom, your body smacks down on the ground, and then that's it. You stay in the world, so that's why you have to have a house to protect yourself. And it did take the number one slot from DayZ, and I believe it's because it's a more complete and interesting experience right now than DayZ is. I see people playing it all the time. Working together you cannot solo that. You can solo DayZ. You can be by yourself. cannot solo Rust. It is very difficult. Sooner or later, they're going to find your base, they're going to wipe it out, and you're going to go along with them. You need to have people to work with in this game. It's a fantastic team-based game. So, I guess the question is like, what else would you like to see added to Rust? Would you like to see more? What would you like to see different? And obviously, now Luna, Kaz, I don't think you've played Rust yet, but Luna and I know this game, however, is being destroyed by hackers.
Oh yeah, that is what I would like to see fixed first and foremost.
What about you, Kaz? Why haven't you bought this game yet? What's holding you back? Are you not interested in it?
Because I got like 10,000 other things to play. I'm that guy that like plays games a year after they come out. So a lot of multiplayer games like this experiences I miss out on because I'm so far behind. I'm playing through BioShock Infinite right now, for crying out loud. That's how far behind I am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that they should, as soon as possible, start cracking down on the hacking. This game is being butchered by the hackers. I think he should take. It's still an alpha, so he doesn't have to be too fast about it. Getting all the features in. Right now, I think he should take like a couple months and get this hacking and exploiting stamped out to keep this game safe and clean. And who knows where it could take off from there, because he's talking about adding all kinds of stuff. Building your own vehicles and having to go grow crops in a garden and just all kinds of stuff. Storms that would come in and cause damage to your home, and just the possibilities for this game are not endless, but they're pretty open. And it's definitely, I'm loving the direction this game is going. I can't wait to see what else he can do to it.
We don't need storms destroying houses. The houses destroy themselves right now.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so there is another thing though. There is a very interesting game that's coming out here. I don't even think it's in alpha yet, but it is in the works. This game is called The Forest. Have you heard of that? It is, so far, a single-player survival game. Very emphasis on horror. You build your base. You can build a log cabin. You have to go out and chop down woods. It's like I said, these survival games are just all over, hugely popular right now in the gaming world. Build it like you need to survive, and what happens is that when it gets dark, you come under attack by a horde of very fast-moving zombies. And yeah, if you can see some of the gameplay here, it looks amazing. The graphic quality is awesome. Everything about it just screams a really good experience, with your base building and gathering and defending. But I guess the question is, can this game survive without any co-op and no PvP? Because that seems like the big draw for these survival-based games right now. What do you think, Kaz?
I'm zombied out. Like, this kind of, it's funny, the survival horror genre, like you're talking about, I don't even see it survival horror so much as it is zombies. It's kind of reminding me of like 10, 15 years ago when every shooter came out was a World War II based shooter, and all you did was shoot Nazis all day long. That's kind of how I feel with a lot of the zombie games. This actually looks fairly interesting, but at the same time, it's like, it's another zombie game. That's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, you, Luna? What do you think?
I think it'll be drowned out by all the multiplayer zombie games out there, just because people play survival games to survive with friends or to just go out and make sure every other survivor is having a really bad day.
Hey, and Krad just joined us. You guys might remember Krad from the last Game Talk. He's also someone that I played with Star Wars Galaxies with. So I know another real life friend because he's been here. We've known each other for, like longer than I've known Kaz, and that's been a decade. So, just to bring you up to speed, Krad, we are talking about the survival game Forest, which is pretty much being built as a single-player experience right now. Base building, surviving. I'm not 100% certain if you are fighting zombies or if they are simply wild, crazy, naked people in the forest. They could be just heathens. I don't know.
I like that.
Also known as zombies.
Then the question was, Krad, is do you think this game can survive if it has no co-op or PvP elements to it?
Did you just ask if a survival horror game could survive? That's very deep.
I know.
Very, very deep.
I know.
Or redundant.
What do you think, Krad?
Depends on how good the game is. I mean, if it's got great gameplay, a lot of the one-player people out there might like it because of all the griefing and all the BS that goes on in, like your DayZ, your Rust, and whatnot. But overall, I think for it to be more successful, it should have multiplayer.
Yeah.
Or at least co-op.
I think I've heard that a lot from people. At least have co-op, and that actually brings me to my next game that we should need to talk about, and it is going with a very unique and completely different twist on the whole survival genre, and this will make Kaz very happy. It is survival game, just like DayZ and the others, with dinosaurs. That's right, dinosaurs. You are a savage guy.
Amazing.
You are a savage heathen on a freaking whatever world you want to call it. You're a savage heathen. You look like a not quite like, you look more like an Indian to me with tribal tattoos and stuff. But you sneak around, you go out to hunt, you gather wood, you gather resources, you go out, you kill little baby dinosaurs. You can even ride a dinosaur if you capture and tame one. The big emphasis in this, they really want you to get down, build traps, and stake out a nice place for you to live. This game is called The Stomping Land.
Dinosaur George.
Yeah, it's Dinosaur George, exactly. You're seeing some very early gameplay here. Obviously, the dinosaurs are not textured in this video at all. That's why they look so weird. But their models look good, but they're not textured. We'll start with Krad, and then we'll go clockwise to Luna, and then Kaz. Krad, what do you think of the Stomping Land? Does that look interesting to you? Instead of zombies, it's dinosaurs.
I haven't looked at it, but the whole Jurassic thing doesn't do anything for me. I hate to be really short about it, but they're dinosaurs. They're very big, large, dumb creatures, and they're not. I mean, yeah, they're scary. If I were to see a dinosaur, I'd piss myself. But something about a zombie biting you, and you die and become one, and that's scarier to me.
And T-Rex doesn't scare you.
Because let's face it. Well, no, let's face it. You run into a T-Rex, you're gonna piss yourself. Run into a lion in Africa, you're gonna piss yourself.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Once you get over a certain size, you're done. You're dead. Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
Your food.
All right.
So now, and the zombie thing it's just, I don't know, something about, and I don't know if this is just me, but something about you can become that, and it can increase their numbers, makes it just have a scarier feel to it.
Okay. Luna, what do you think?
I actually think this game looks pretty interesting. It takes you away from the whole zombie survival thing and throws in a new type of enemy, something that we haven't seen in most games for quite a while, and that's dinosaurs. I just think, it's interesting because who knew where that dinosaurs would come back up in any kind of game?
In survival, they come back.
Honest. In a
Does
survival
it have
where
Jeff
you
Goldblum
base
on a
build
porta potty?
These things look like they can just crush a base, Just
Yeah. What about you, Kaz?
What do I think? T-Rex doesn't want to be fed, sir.
So you're all for this game then?
Absolutely. It looks like it'd be fun. There's a goofy element to it, but come on, you're riding a dinosaur at one part in the trailer. Amazing.
Yeah. And it does have PvP and it does have co-op.
It would at least be fun for a couple afternoons for sure. Where
Yeah.
the zombie thing, like I said, I'm just tired of zombies. I'd rather play a World War II shooter with Nazis.
Well, there is a more appealing side to it. It's the whole hunter aspect of it. Like they're talking about, just like ancient Native American tribes. He's trying to incorporate a lot of the hunter elements of that. Sneaking in, camouflage, blending in with your environment to sneak up on your prey and stuff like that. And I can accept that. Like trying to, I'd be scared shitless if I was playing this game and a T-Rex rolls up on me and I'm trying to blend in with the tree or something like that, and you got a 50-50 chance to survive it or get killed. And I don't know. Zombies don't frighten me as much as large things that you can't escape. Like a zombie, I know I can pull out a gun, shoot it in the head, or I can barricade a door from like maybe 5 of them, but unless like 20 or 50 show up. But if a T-Rex wants to eat you, what exactly are you going to do to stop it? It's like, unless you have like a bazooka, a handgun isn't going to stop it. Getting inside a building's not going to stop it. You're just fucked. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
And don't forget their powers of stealth. I mean, we all played Warcraft. Remember those Devil Swords?
Mm-hmm.
Stealthiest sons of bitches in the entire game.
That's the other thing. If you're talking reality, if a dinosaur the size of a T-Rex starts coming towards you, you're going to know way in advance.
Not if they have the powers of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Elf dino.
7 foot tall,
Amazing.
400-pound dude that makes no noise on dry leaves.
He is Nightcrawler's father. I'm telling you.
He's very
teleports.
light-footed. That's all. He's just very light-footed.
He's like standing there and he's like, look at me, bitch, look at me. Yeah. Now turn away the other way. I'm gonna teleport right in front of you. Booyah! That's Jason. Every Jason Voorhees movie
You know what he
ever.
does? I know what he does. See, when you're running and you turn around, he's actually running too. But then as soon as you turn around, that's when he starts to walk. And he's just got the timing down.
There you go. At least they finally did away with that in the new Friday the 13th movie. Now he's actually a running man, so whatever. All right, let's switch gears to a game that I think a lot of survival fans are really excited about because it is the first AAA survival game. I think officially this is the first AAA survival game, and I am talking about Tom Clancy's The Division. Being made by Ubisoft. Boo on Ubisoft for all their DRM crap. But this game is set in New York, post-apocalyptic, of course. A virus has been released. No zombies, guys. Very sorry, no zombies. But it is a bad virus that's killed a lot of people. It is an open-world, multiplayer RPG. That's what they're calling it. That's pretty much I don't think it's as much as an RPG as a third-person shooter, but they're saying RPG. You get XP to spend points to level up however you like. That's kind of like SWG, guys, where we could put points in Carboneer or put points in Fencer. They're saying you can do the same thing in this. You can join clans, you fight for objectives with the world map, and you fight off rival players. I don't yet know if it's DayZ-like where you spawn with nothing and then except have your level and you have to go out and hunt and find equipment, or if you spawn in with a certain amount of equipment every time you start. But this is a massive scope game, hugely open world, huge, just absolutely beautiful to look at. They're putting in iPad support, so little guys, who don't want to play the game can play with a little doohickey guy that flies around. Very strong emphasis on group play versus other groups, and just a really big world to go around and do things in. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is the first AAA survival game? That we're going to have many more to come? Are you interested in The Division? Is this something that you're excited to play? And we'll still keep going clockwise, and we'll start with Luna.
Yeah, this game, this took me by surprise. This game is just amazing looking. and the fact that you're in this giant city just adds a whole new kind of terrifying aspect, because you never know what's going to be hiding in an alleyway or around a building, behind cars, in trunks of cars, all that stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kaz?
Oh, the environment looks amazing. And I am jazzed about the fact that it is co-op as well. I'm definitely liking co-op more and more. I'm glad to see more and more games coming to co-op. The only thing is anybody else a little creeped out that they're still using Tom Clancy's name, even though he's dead and had nothing to do with development of this game. Does anybody else
It gets
think
more
that's a little
sales. It's like, oh,
It's
look,
like-
Tom Clancy's name's on there. Let's buy this.
I think it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
Madden thing, man. Military shooters
creepy?
made by
Or like
Ubisoft.
Indies
or-
where like
yeah.
they filmed like commercials that they played for 10
Madden's
years
not
after his
dead, though,
death.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Krad? I would think this is right up your alley.
I will definitely, yeah, I'll definitely give this one a look. I haven't looked at it a lot. I've only caught teeny little bits and pieces of it, but it's one I would definitely look at.
Mm.
I like the idea of a more realistic setting. Something like zombies are fun. I do believe maybe it's getting a little overdone. It's a little too bandwagonish, but they're still fun. Monsters and all that crap. Fun. But having a game that has a little more realistic twist on, hey, this really actually could happen, and how would people act? The only thing I would want and there's no way to really do it, is in these multiplayer games where they're open world and people have their own will, I would want them to somehow, some way create an environment where it forces players to play as they would actually be in real life. Don't just sit there and spawn in, shoot somebody and run. That kind of takes away from these games, because you don't have the there's no worry of, oh, I'm going to die. If I miss, if I make a name for myself, I'm going to get hunted down and killed. Because let's face it, nobody, unless you have a death wish, wants to die. And it'd be nice to have a conscience somehow written into the game, and make players want to play the right way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. People dying just for the sake of, oh, I'm gonna go get myself killed, guys. Whatever. And I guess that's kind of the draw of DayZ. You don't want to lose all your stuff. So that's why I'm very curious to know if you start with a group of items or if you have to survive to get them. That may in Rust and
I would rather
DayZ.
start with some stuff.
Yeah, in Rust and DayZ, that's like the big draw, is not getting killed, because you don't want to lose your
Yeah, and I'm
stuff.
wondering
Even
if
those,
you
you should
die,
start with
if
more
you
stuff.
lose all your level.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you survive to that point, you should have some stuff on you.
yeah. Well, maybe you could have like a starter. They even have like a starter kit for like Rust, but maybe there's like a starter, handgun, maybe starter armor or something like that. But the big stuff, like a heavy and large backpack and grenades and stuff like that, maybe that's something you have to scour the land and surrounding areas for. I don't know. But it does there's a lot of like objectives to this game, like in the open world.
Variations.
Yeah, there's lots of objectives, different things to go for, and I'm curious to see how those relate to your character. Like, why am I going to go for this objective besides just to get XP? What else does it give me? And they have it set up so that opposing player groups, I think, I don't know if it's completely open world, like anybody could go for it, or if they set up like opposing groups would go for it or something. Maybe it only shows up to 2 groups of equal size. But it did show that, at least later at the end of this trailer, it shows 2 groups of players meeting, trying to secure an objective. And that, to me, looked really cool. Just that surprise. You don't know if you're going to go into a player encounter or if you're going to an NPC encounter is very exciting. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, you can like team up with opposing groups to meet a common goal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I would like to see this game on Utera maybe. Wink, wink.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that at the end of the at the end of the game talk as well.
Little.
Yeah, but you see here they're starting to engage players in combat right there, and that's how they end the trailer. So I don't know. We'll see. That's another big possible game that could dominate here in the next gen. I think that's going to be a next gen seller if there's ever been one. This other game, though, switching gears from survival to just be your run-of-the-mill interesting games. This next one, the best that I can say is that it's Assassin's Creed of Middle-earth. That's what it looks like to me. You play a solitary character. It is called Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and it really is referring to the character. He's the Shadow. He is a half human, half wraith, so he can enter wraith mode, which is like, I don't know, like the wraiths of the ring wraiths in Middle Earth. He can enter their domain. He can control orcs. He can brutally murder them. They worked on a lot of backstory for all the orcs too. The orcs are like really the star of this game. Working on their social stratus, their structures of ranks and order and everything that they do with each other. And, you have to understand the enemy to conquer your enemy. They really build this game with a real life, real breathing world. And all the orcs are doing something. Like there's one that, some of them are on guard duty. Some of them are cooking food. Some of them are going around doing this. They really wanted life to be a part of the orc society, not just NPC guys that just stand around waiting for you to kill them. And I also like the fact that each one of them serves somebody else. So like every orc, they're either a minion of another guy, and that guy's a minion of another guy. And maybe you're trying to kill the orc boss, so you got to go to his minions to work up to that, and control them. And they're showing Wraith mode right now. Don't know anything about any multiplayer components to it or anything like that. Right now, it just looks like a really cool single-player experience. But what's your guys' thought? I mean, it really is an Assassin's Creed for all intents and purposes in Middle-earth. Do you think that'll work? And we'll start with Kaz.
All comes down to the gameplay. Obviously, if the gameplay is as good as Assassin's Creed, sure. I wouldn't see why it couldn't work, but it's going to completely come down to how it plays. Bottom line.
Okay. Well, what about you, Krad?
I would have to agree. I mean, I'm not a one-player game fan. I haven't been for a long time. They just, you learn the AI of your enemy, and then to me it gets boring. I'd rather deal with other players. But again, yeah, I agree. It's going to come down to gameplay. If the gameplay is nice, fast, fluid, fun, lots of over-the-top giving and crap like that, yeah, it'll do well. If not, it'll fail miserably.
Mm-hmm. But you, Luna?
Yeah, I'm going to be part of the majority here. As long as this game has great gameplay, it's going to work. I mean, I haven't played a full single-player game that wasn't Assassin's Creed since Fable. And even that wasn't completely full single-player.
Well, I still love a good single-player experience. Obviously, XCOM, it kind of murdered me a little bit. I'm really digging this concept. I mean, it's kind of, like I said, it still is kind of a lot. I think it really has a lot of influence from Assassin's Creed. But they kind of do take it their own direction. They could have easily just made it Assassin's Creed clone, and there you go. But they're going to a little bit more extreme here. Like you can actually shoot runners with an arrow and plant them in place so they can't move. You can assume control of other orcs, see through their eyes, and make them attack your target or something. And wraith powers where you can kind of, I don't know, like slipstream through the wraith world to jump from point A to point B, almost like blinking or something like that. Plus, it's just giving me more of what I love too. I really love the Middle-earth movie universe, so. And that's where this gets that theme from that, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm easily excitable anyway, so that's no big deal.
Assassin's Creed Orc Edition.
Assassin's Creed Orc Edition, exactly. I think that's That's a perfect
Hey,
game
if
for
that's
that.
what this ends up being, I think it'll be a hit.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll be well worth it. Okay. Now for the talk that many people would be dreading. At least some people. Is Dark Souls 2. And its release is fastly approaching us in March. Here's a couple things that maybe people don't know. They said Dark Souls 1, that was hard. Wait till you play Dark Souls 2. And they also said that it will have 3-player co-op. If you so choose. You still get people summoned in. They still don't like the idea. I don't know why they're still so opposed to that. But they don't obviously want people... They like the random experience that players get. They don't necessarily want you... They don't stop you from summoning your friends. It's still... You still can do that. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to do it, though. But you can still do it. But they prefer you having these random experiences. You have these people that come in and help you out and then disappear. So they're still sticking to their guns on that. But now it seems like that when players are summoned, they are on a limited time. So yeah, they can. Before you would summon someone, they'd help you through the level. You'd get to the boss, and then they disappear. Now, if you kill the boss, they'll still remain, but they're on a timetable, and that time depletes every time they kill something. So every time you get help from them to kill something, you risk a chance of losing them. To help you, and I don't know what that means as far as summoning people. I don't know if as soon as they disappear, could you resummon them? I don't know. But this game, in of itself, is designed as a very difficult action third-person swordplay, wizard game, whatever you want to call it. And their emphasis is on obviously, dealing these massive blows to you and dying and trying again until you figure it out. Now, one of these things that is both cool and also depressing. Before in Dark Souls, when you were undead, you couldn't be invaded, and when you regained your humanity, meaning you brought back your life, you stopped being undead, and sometimes you had to do that for game mechanics. You could be invaded by other players who are looking to kill you because they've gone down the dark path where maybe you haven't or whatever. They're just looking for players to kill. If they invade you and they are really good, they're going to murder you every time. And so a lot of people would not ever use their humanity just to avoid that. Now that's gone. You can be invaded at any point in time in your entire gameplay, no matter what. But they added a new component. It's called the Light Side Covenant, where you could sign up for that, and your sole job can be to protect other players from invasion. So as soon as somebody gets invaded, it'll say an invasion is happening. Click X to go defend the player, and you can accept that invitation, and people can come and defend you from other players. Other than that, this is Dark Souls 2. It is harder. It is bigger. That sounds like a sexual reference, but it's not. It is completely...
Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink. It is completely more of what people loved from Dark Souls and Demon Souls. My guess is, God, will you guys play it? Do you dare buy this game and suffer through these agony of death and destruction that Dark Souls delivers? Krad, what do you think?
I'm probably not going to buy it. I played one of the Dark Souls, and I just wasn't... I didn't get the gameplay. I wasn't crazy about the camera angles and the gameplay. I really didn't enjoy it. The graphics looked neat.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if the gameplay for me, I can't catch on to it within the first, let's say, half hour to an hour, then I'm done. And something with the camera angles when I got near walls, I just didn't like it. It didn't have a comfortable feel. And playing some of the Clancy games, the Splinter Cell games, I've become spoiled.
Yeah.
Consequently, I only play those in co-op. I won't do them in single player.
They imply, that is part of their MO, is the gameplay and, obviously the game, but the camera angle too. I don't know why, but it's also something that people like for some reason. But what do you think, Luna?
I'm not gonna buy this, but I'll gladly watch you rage while playing it.
Happily, yeah. What do you think, Kaz?
I'm in agreement with Luna. Like, the enjoyment I'll get out of this is just, watching streams of you just raging about, how hard it is. And don't get me wrong. I play. It's the difficulty's not what the turnoff is. It just, I don't know. I can see why that's actually a highlight for a lot of newer gamers who maybe didn't grow up in the golden age, as it's called, where
Battletoads
games were fucking hard. Yeah. So I mean, that just seems like a gimmick for kind of a slightly above average action adventure RPG. Maybe I'm totally off base, but there's just never anything about the series where I was like, I have to play this. I don't know. But watching you rage will be hilarious.
I always loved Demon Souls and Dark Souls. I'm not, I do get really pissed off playing these kind of games. And obviously, sometimes it has to do because Dark Souls has never been the most perfectly finesse kind of game, but that's also, why I kind of love it too. I do really love the sword mechanics of the game. It's always been an enjoyment to me. And these huge, I think that the crazy thing that gets me is the bosses. They give you bosses that you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? You don't even know what you're supposed to. It's like some gigantic thing, and all you can attack is its foot, and you're just left there bewildered trying to figure out how could you possibly ever defeat it. And I think that's going to be a fun thing for launch day, because there'll be no videos on how to do anything, and people will pretty much just be on their own saying good luck defeating that crap. But
it'll make for a good stream as we watch you stroke your beard in confusion.
I think you're right, yeah. Okay, so this one I'm kind of excited to talk about, because I definitely am excited to hear your opinion on this, Kaz. I think your Luna's up, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, hey.
Next game is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. So, this is going to be coming out probably, this summer? It is going to completely revamp the Diablo 3 experience, as far as we know. The big announcement, which I think they've already completed, is no more real money auction house. Yay, that is gone. A new class, Crusader, which is going to be a defensive class. I think it has healing abilities as well. That's cool. They're adding a 5th act. They are adding adventure mode, which is being billed as like a free roam over the whole world to deal with rifts that appear, which are like dungeons or unique encounters of some sort. A new artisan is Mystic, which can enhance the look of your player, that's cool. New level cap of 70, and obviously a whole host of new skills, runes, and other such things. So, the question is, will this save Diablo 3? And we'll start with Luna.
Well, I have Diablo 3, and played it with a couple friends. Didn't really enjoy it that well, but I think this is actually going to make me go back to playing Diablo 3.
Okay.
I just think it looks amazing. Finally got rid of that auction house, which was completely BS.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be great.
What do you now, Kaz? Before we get to Kaz, let me tell you just a little backstory about Kazook here playing Diablo 3. Now, he played it with me and a couple other friends, and we went through it. We beat the game, and Kaz raged, I'd say, a little bit about the game. He raged just a little bit. And he actually got a refund for Diablo 3 because he was so upset. He contacted Blizzard and told them how many cocks they can actually go ahead and go suck for the game that they made. And they gave him a refund. By the way. They gave him a refund so he can have it all back. And Kaz, you've actually had a change of heart, possibly.
Possibly. My biggest issues with Diablo, I could fill a 2-hour show with ranting about Diablo 3 in its base form. It was my issue was never with gameplay. With gameplay, it was very much Diablo, and unfortunately, I haven't like Torchlight and some of the others, while good, weren't as good as Diablo gameplay-wise. They own this style of action RPG in terms of how it plays. That was never my issue. It was the soul-sucking, money-sucking design of the auction house where they really thought it was a good idea to, basically their whole system was built on whales. What I mean by that, they didn't give a shit about you or anybody else with $5, $10 purchases. They wanted a piece of those dumbasses that will pay $5,000 for a weapon. And there's idiots out there who will do that. And it ruined the entire game. I loved in Diablo 2 being able to go through the game and always get something useful. You'd play session, you would always get something useful. Maybe not for that character, but maybe for another one of your characters. And it created that hook of I've always got to come back. I've always got to come back. Diablo 3, after I think we beat it through Hell mode. We didn't do the I believe it was Inferno, because Inferno was fucking retarded. When you have your lead developer like, hey bro, we made this game so hard none of the developers could get through it, and then we doubled it. That's your idea of balance? Really? Anyway, so 2 factors. Auction house gone. It's back to being a loot collection game, and Jay Wilson got kicked to the fucking curb. That alone makes me maybe take another peek, because the gameplay in it was a lot of fun. And if it's truly going back to its Diablo roots in terms of in-game, then I may give it another look. We'll see.
Sweet. What about you, Kaz? Or Krad? Sorry.
No.
No, definitely not your cup of tea, huh?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I've not been a Diablo fan for a long time. I like Diablo 1 way back in the day. It was new, it was fresh, it was a different way to play. Now, it doesn't do anything for me.
Well, I'm probably going to be picking it up. Can't help myself. I still never got that full experience of Diablo 2 because I missed Diablo 2. And I do like these kind of games. I really do. I enjoy the piss out of them. I liked a lot of that. Torchlight 2 was really fun to me. I just, I don't know, couldn't get enough people to play it, so I kind of got tired of it and playing it by myself. I don't like playing these kind of games by myself. They're definitely team-based games.
My 9-year-old plays Torchlight 2.
It's fun. I like it. But I don't know if Diablo, if this expansion is going to have that loot that you used to rave so much about, Kaz, from Diablo 2 or not. I don't know if they're going back to that. I haven't heard anything about that. But the fact that they're getting rid of the real-world action house, or that they already have actually, makes me excited to play the game again, because maybe now I can actually get the loot that my character's supposed to have, instead of having to go check the auction house to see them spawn it on there every 2 days for people to buy. So, yeah, I'm excited for it, and we'll see how it goes. Comes out later.
And you have a possible 2 people to play with as well.
Exactly. As long as Kaz jumps in.
Yeah, it's yeah. Jump in. It's another game I carried Berg in. Just saying.
Okay, guys. Now, this one I'm just kind of bringing in for fun. Not a lot of people have been talking about it. But do you guys remember at all on the PlayStation 1 a game called Deception? Any of you guys, Tecmo's Deception? You guys remember that at all? Nobody?
No.
Okay, well, Deception was a game of trap building. You were the villain. It was one of the first games that did this. You were the bad guy. You lived in a mansion. It was very dark, very gothic. Okay, I'm going to put that out right now. You were very evil, very bad person. And your job was to build traps. And when you would lure the heroes, and they would try to come after you, and your job was to lure them where the traps were, and then you horribly murdered them as a result of that. It was like one of the first...
Wasn't that like a full motion video game?
No. It was a 3D game, like anything else, but you just designed the traps. Like, it had 2 stages.
You're thinking of that other game that had the actress that OD'd, aren't you?
Maybe that was it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that
girl
was Night
from
Trap. The one with the
Night Trap.
The one with the
Yes, it was
yeah,
Night-
the one
yes.
that caused like the congressional hearing.
Yeah, it had the chick from what the hell was the show with? What you talking about, Willis? It was her.
I have no idea.
They're all
Gary
dead or
Coleman,
bald.
though. I know that name.
Gary Coleman, yeah. It was the girl that played his sister. She was the heroine in that. And then she overdosed a couple years later or whatever.
Mm.
Great
Well,
career.
Actually, I think the real reason, Burke, you wanted to highlight this game, just watching this trailer, like the character designs look like Japanese S&M porn. So
They do a little bit,
I see
yeah.
your interest now.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's
Yeah,
up his
you
alley.
think you found... Anyway, I don't know. I just really like the idea of this game. I always have, like... I mean, it has two stages. You have your house, you plan out your traps and what you're going to do for that night. And then the enemy hero will come to kill you, and then you have to work him into these traps. It was very... The first one I ever played was very good at tactical strategy game. I really loved it. I mean, it didn't have female characters that looked like this, obviously, back in the PlayStation 1 era, but I'm pretty excited that they're
Yeah,
bringing this
pixels.
series back. Yeah. And none of you guys are interested in this game? Is that what you're telling me? None of you guys think looks cool?
Well,
Am
if
the
I
only
want
person?
Japanese S&M porn, I can always just go to the internet.
Fine. All right, we'll talk about something that everyone besides myself would be
I think you're on
interested
your
in.
own on that one.
All right, so newest announcement. We're going to talk about Titanfall. The newest announcement for Titanfall is that it's going to be 6-on-6 combat. Oh, and the internet exploded. 6-on-6 combat. Come on, we got 32 versus 32 on Battlefield 4. Come on, we got 16 versus 16 in Call of Duty. What the hell? They have committed video game suicide with 6-on-6. What is Titanfall, if you guys don't know? Well, it's made by Infinity Ward. The real Infinity Ward, not these imposters that have been making the Call of Duties since. The real Infinity Ward left to create Respawn Entertainment, and they are the creators behind Titanfall. These are the main guys. Just like Kaz said earlier that the WoW guys went to make WildStar. This is your true-to-life Call of Duty creators. These are the artists who made Call of Duty, what it is. These are the same guys that also made Medal of Honor, by the way. The original Medal of Honor, before it became Call of Duty. It is, as you expect, a ground-based combat game, like Call of Duty. The twist, though, is that you play as pilots they have jetpacks, they have interesting guns, and they have all the means of taking down Titans, which is mech warriors. Small mech warriors. You can see a couple on the screen there. Big walking mechs with huge guns, and this game plays just like that. That's the twist of the game. As a pilot, you can enter a Titan at any time you want to do battle. And just because you're a pilot doesn't mean the mech is going to be absolutely obliterating you. You do have means to bring them down yourself, though not as easily as you would another pilot. And by the way, jetpacks. Did I mention jetpacks to anybody? Did I mention jetpacks? Anyway, my question is, and we'll start with Kaz. Is 6 versus 6 gonna work in a multiplayer game? This is only multiplayer. There is no single player. They're claiming that they're gonna have story in the multiplayer aspect of the game, so we will see. But will 6 versus 6 work?
Game, yes, hear me out. There are some concerns. I went flipping out like most everybody else. They're really gonna have to develop the AI, and the reason I say that, keep in mind, the mechs are you're not just piloting them. The mechs can also act as like AI bodyguards. You can have them guarding an objective. There's really multiple uses. Like the pilot character that you play is not useless. I mean, that's the mech is just another tool. So given that, you're really talking about 6 players with 6 potential AI mates, talking about 12v12. I think it could. It depends. It depends on size of the map, pacing of the game. am really, as you know, I've talked your ear off about this game. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be amazing. I really, really do. I'm hoping that there's an achievement that says, we both can live, a la Robot Jocks, but I digress. I think the game itself, I don't know, like, there's so many different ways you can attack an objective. Traditionally, like in a first-person shooter, right? If you're guarding an objective, you're camping a hallway or a doorway, something like that. In this game, you can jetpack yourself through the windows, bounce off, run up a wall to get into a building. I mean, it's the options are really open. I just can't wait to play that in person. I think it's going to be a blast. 6v6. Some of my favorite games, shooter-wise, were not very big populations. Especially on console, like the old SOCOM days. Heck, Halo 2. Halo 2 wasn't some massive, 30-on-30 battle. Our Halo 1 even was, 16 players. So, when you got 4 Xboxes hooked up. So, on a console, 12 players, that could be the right size. 6v6.
Yeah. Krad, what do you think?
I haven't actually looked at it, but are you saying that there's going to be 6 NPCs with AI that you have to deal with?
It's 6
it's 6 players,
6 characters. Yeah. The mech that you can get in and out of, though, when you leave it, it's not like it's just standing still. It has an AI to it to fight. Then
I will not play. I cannot. That's basically a pet to me, and you can ask Burke. I have a thing about AI and PvP mixed together. I absolutely, positively cannot stand dealing with AI and players at the same time. I just can't stand it. I want to just deal with a player. I don't want to deal with and what they know, what they can do. I can't stand dealing with AI that all of a sudden it knows you're there, even though you just popped out around the corner. Oh, the AI saw you because you're in its cone of field of view bullshit.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
That kind of shit.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about that,
I get angry and I get pissed. Like when I played WoW or any game that had pets, and you would get the guy that would always spec to where the pet was badass, stick the pet on you and run away. I wanted to find that person, pull their teeth out with needle nose pliers, stick the needle nose up in the socket, and whirl around with the nerve, because they just were candy ass and would run around and let the mob do all the work for them while they just ran away. Oh, I hate that. So if that's going to be in that game,
like, the mech will not be most effective unless you're piloting it.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't like if I'm kind of trying to get the drop on a dude, I don't want that thing auto targeting me just because I peeked my little head around the corner and then my other player didn't see me.
Yeah, now it knows
that
where
would
you
suck.
are.
Yeah,
now it knows where you are and it can chase you down. That's the other thing. Like in other games, whether it was WoW, Rift, you name it. If there was a pet involved and you got the pet sicked on you, and then you went around another corner. Dip down into a tunnel, up into the air, boom, and then you wait, and like 30 seconds later, it's biting you because it just was locked onto you and found you, and it could never lose you. But yet, you do that to a player, the player has no idea where you went. If they design the AI to where you can lose it, crap like that, I won't have as much of a problem. But the problem is, so many games where they throw AI into it, they don't take the time to do that. It just latches on, and then unless you either get a certain distance or making it go back to spawn location or some crap like that, it will stay on you forever. I can't stand it.
Yeah. What do you think, Luna?
Well, I mean, what else is there to say, really? Everything's been brought up. I'm kind of split between this one. I mean, both Krad and Kaz had really good ideas, but I think it's going to work. As long as the maps aren't huge and you're actually going to be able to find people, and you're not going to be wandering around the map for 20 minutes looking for one dude on a team of 6.
Yeah, I forgot to even mention that. He's right.
Yeah, well, I prefer 6-on-6, to be honest with you. The only time I like massive battles is when like vehicles and stuff are involved, like PlanetSide or Battlefield. I cannot stand it in Call of Duty. Way too much chaos. You can't even enjoy the damn game unless you're like a really pro player at it, which I'm not. I don't have much fun in Call of Duty because it's spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die over and over again because there's too many players on the damn map. The grenades flying, explosions going everywhere. It's just too much chaos for me. I look forward to these kind of games where it's 6-on-6. Something you can actually manage. You could fight 6 people by yourself. Well, within reason, obviously, but you can. It can be done. People have done that before, obviously, and I like those kind of games. Those nice, close, almost more like a basketball game. 5-on-5. It's just 6-on-6 is what it feels like to me. And I agree with Luna. The maps do have to be good for that, and I'm sure that they'll do that. I mean, we are talking about Infinity Ward here, the masters of map design. They truly are. And I do believe that they'll get that right. And the Titans, now that Krad brought it up, I am worried about that. I am a very kind of stealthy player. I like running into cover and then getting the drop on somebody. And I don't want some AI that's just standing there catch sight of me for a split second and then ruin that whole experience. I don't want that.
Did you ever play Global Agenda?
No.
Well, from what I understand, the AI, and I think even somebody brought it up in the chat, the AI, it'll have 2 modes. The mech will have 2 modes when you're not piloting it, if it's not destroyed. A mech's not invincible in this game. It's a pilot can take down a player in a mech.
Yeah.
With not it being such a rare occurrence that it takes elite skill to pull this off. I mean, that's all part of game balance, but the 2 things that the mech can do when you are not piloting it are basically follow you around and attack your target, or B, you can set it to point defense, meaning there's a objective B is something that has to be that you've captured, you want to defend it, but you want to push out somewhere else. You can leave your mech to guard it.
Okay.
It's not going to chase you down across the map or anything like that.
Well, good.
I'd have to see. I'd have to, you know what I mean? I'd have to experience it. I'd have to be, because I can tell you there have been too many games to mention where I got in, I whacked a player or 2, I was patting myself on the back because I had these overwhelming odds, and I managed to slip away, and I'm trying to get my health back, bandage, whatever, sit down, eat, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden, through all kinds of twists and turns and ducks, a goddamn pet comes and starts chewing on me. And then the asshole pet owner follows it to where I am, and they get me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a game kind of like this is either going to be hit or miss.
I have faith in these guys.
They
Like
do
I
it
do
right.
too.
They're
said,
fun as hell.
this is the guys who made Call of Duty what it was, not the current imposters now, and it's the guys who made Medal of Honor back when Medal of Honor was fucking amazing.
And it's,
These guys are talented.
It's the same guys, man, from way back. Medal of Honor, when they turned that game into a life franchise. Then I can't remember the story on how they got out, but they got ousted somehow. They made Infinity Ward with the intent of turning Call of Duty into a massive success. They did, and they killed their own series, Medal of Honor, and I think they're going to do it again with Titanfall. I really do. I have no qualms about this gameplay at all. The only thing I would be worried about still is just what what Krad said. I don't want the AI spotting me, and that may not be a problem. Maybe it doesn't spot. Maybe it can only react within a vicinity. Maybe it'll be very clear. It's going to defend point A. Well, point A maybe expands to this point, and I'll know that. So that's possible, and then I won't have, my fears will be for nothing. So, but he's right though. Kaz is right. The Titans, they're just another tool. They really are cool. This game's all cool, man. I mean, you can see these guys scaling off of walls and doing all kinds of agility things, and that's awesome. It reminds me of Tribes back in the day, and I fell in love with that game, with all the jumping and shenanigans you can get into. But
Yeah, and it seems like once you get on the mech's back, it's pretty much dead.
Yeah, I was about to say, I saw a video of a pilot jumping off a wall, shooting a dude, jumping onto the back of a mech, and then shooting the pilot out of the mech. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Epic YouTube moments is what you're saying. This game's got a lot of. We'll see.
Parkour.
Yeah, we'll see. It's coming out this year. It is definitely going to be a game that'll be played on Multiplayer Mayhem for sure. we'll be delving into this. We get 6 squaddies versus another group. So I'm excited for it. It will be released for Xbox One and PC. Take your preference from that, I guess. Now,
I'm all for the PC.
we are done talking about games for the night, but I am going to go over 2 more things before we call it a night. First of all, coming soon in February. These are all the games that are going to be released next month, guys. And they are Earth Defense Force 2025, Thief, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, Divinity Original Sin, Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, Outlast for the PlayStation 4, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the PlayStation, or for PlayStation, for the Nintendo U, or Wii U, whatever. Fable Anniversary for the 360. That's the first Fable game if you never played it on the original Xbox. Resident Evil 4 Ultimate HD Edition for PC. Real quick, for everybody that's here, you buying any games in February that I just announced? Any of those interest you? Kaz?
I'm still catching up on a lot of classics from this past year, so a lot of that seems like it's HD remakes too. Seem to be the big thing. You know, the Fable remake, which a lot of people don't realize that game took 10 years to make. Wow. Anyways, Resident Evil 4. I know this is blasphemous. Never a big Resident Evil fan. Some of the others, maybe I'll take a look at. But as a whole, I know there's a lot of stuff coming out, but the big ones for the year, like we've already covered, like obviously Titanfall, and Titanfall, and then of course the Bungie game as well. So that's really what I'm looking forward to this year.
About you, Krad? Anything from that February list that you're interested in?
Nope. And I actually, the one, what was the one that has the vampire guy and the vampire chick? What was that one called? They're knights and they get turned into vampires. That was one of the ones you mentioned.
Blood Blood Knights, I thought. Divinity Original Sin is something else. That's an RPG.
That's okay. I'm mixing the two up. That vampire game is the only one I might look at because it has co-op.
Oh. Divinity. I don't know if you guys know. Divinity Original Sin is like an old school classic Dungeons and Dragons style RPG as well. Looks pretty interesting to me.
No.
D&D?
Luna, what do you think? Anything in February that...
Don't tell me it's turn-based. Is it turn-based?
I don't know that much about that.
Because you like turn-based. I can't deal with turn-based anymore.
XCOM. Luna.
I liked turn-based when I was, like, 5.
Luna, anything in February?
I'm interested in Thief, actually. That seems like a really interesting game.
I am too. Thief and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I really want to do Lightning Returns, but I'm going to wait because I have never played any of the Final Fantasy 13s. I know, I'm terrible, but I will get through them through the hard year at some point.
I may play Lightning Returns, but not immediately.
Doesn't Jennifer Hale do her voice too?
Oh God, there we go. There we go. It's always Jennifer Hale.
I do like me some Jennifer Hale.
Have you let them all know that you're strictly a FemShep player?
Yep.
Strictly FemShep.
They all know. They know. They know my.
You like hooking up with dudes.
They know that. I did not. I totally did the Asari. Totally the Asari.
And Garrus.
I didn't do Garrus. I never touched Garrus.
Denial.
Oh,
anyways.
Whatever. You had a relationship with a male ship and you Caden. So what do you think about that? Caden was your lover.
Caden's dead to me. Literally. I left his ass on Vermire.
Okay. Point number... see, that was point number 1 that is coming soon in February. Point number 2 is we're going to be doing the Dungeons & Dragons playthrough, guys, on the stream. Kaz is going to be joining us. Luna's going to be the Dungeon Master. I am going to participate. And we're going to be doing that in February. Late February, because that's when I get back from being kidnapped by a mouse. I'm about 90% sure that Krad is probably thinking, Dungeons & Dragons, what a bunch of fucking nerds.
Hey, that's how we
Yeah, because
live.
if it's not Rift, it doesn't need to be talked about. And I mean pen and paper, not PC.
Oh, really? Rift. Okay. Well, I don't know.
See, you thought PC.
Yeah, I
was
did.
going back to pen and paper.
Interesting. So you know some of the pen and paper. So yeah, it will be pen and paper. We're going to use Roll20.net as our means to play Dungeons and Dragons, and we'll do it live on the stream. We'll do it live. Fuck, we'll do it live. Now, lastly, guys,
D20.
I want to show everyone on the channel something that everyone is talking about in the gaming world. And I don't know if any of you guys pay attention to Reddit or any of that. But there is something that was announced just recently. It is, let me see here.
You're pregnant.
Yes, with twins. Let me show you this video.
Octodad.
Let me see if I can get this. Anyway, it's a game engine that was released. It's still in its infancy, but it is nothing short of amazing. It purely a technological miracle that has been created. The guy that made this is going to be an overnight millionaire. He's probably already talking to companies that want to buy his engine and make it into something exclusive to their games. And I'm talking about I think it's called Otera engine. It's, you know how like they make engines, right? Before I play this video, you know how they make engines for games, right? They make an engine like Frostbite, for example, Kaz. Frostbite powers the level of Battlefield 4, you know, and Kaz, you know, like the World of Warcraft engine, you know, which powers the gameplay in there. You know you guys know what a video game engine is. Okay, this is a planetary engine. And now I'll hit play on that video. This is a planetary engine. An entire planet rendered in a video game graphically for the first time ever.
Loading screen free.
Loading screen free, open world, free roam. This is just a tech demo of this guy's engine. He rendered the entire planet Earth from Google Earth or whatever you want to talk about. The gorge is in there, the vegetation, the seas, everything is rendered, and it's all seamless. It's practically lag free. I haven't had a chance to delve into it myself. It's what?
Is it to scale?
I don't know. It could be, because I haven't played it yet. But there was a guy that took from screenshots from the bottom of the what was the Great Gorge in California? What's it called? You know what I'm talking about. Not California, but the huge gorge thing.
Grand
You don't mean
The Grand Canyon.
do you?
Yes, the Grand Canyon.
Well, he's a Splinter Cell spy from Russia left over, so
Yeah.
he wouldn't know Grand Canyon. It's okay.
So anyway, he took a
Your
picture.
cover's blown.
He took a picture from the bottom of it and matched it with a real life picture, and it did look like it was from scale. So
Okay, so you can actually be up in the atmosphere and
Yeah.
go down,
and go down, yeah.
and it's completely, the whole full planet, no load screens, completely to scale. That'd be impressive.
Exactly.
Oh,
This is blowing
could
up
take that.
everywhere.
Put it into future MMOs.
Exactly. That's what they're saying. The
Yeah,
practical
imagine that in
use of
future
this,
MMOs. Oh, hell yeah.
you are looking at this is the future game engine right here. I mean, the fact that he's able to create this, this guy, and it didn't come from a AAA company, is mind-boggling. I mean, what the hell? They all got their heads up their asses? They can't figure out how to do this stuff with billions and billions of dollars?
Yes, they do. Because they're greedy.
It's all about the money.
But
Right. Now think about big companies. Think about big companies. As long as people are paying for what they shovel out, no matter whether it's shit or diamonds, as long as people are paying for it, they're going to keep supplying that shit. It's until other bigger companies start to raise the bar and force other companies to raise the bar that we'll see progress.
yeah. Well,
And that's sadly how all markets are.
You could turn this engine into a flight sim. You can turn this engine into a space simulator.
Anything.
It can be anything. Exactly. It can be a DayZ kind of game. It is completely up for grabs. I mean, you can see he's got water realistic effects. The boat is bobbing in the water, and these are the oceans that you can reach. I mean, it's blown.
What's
It's
awesome
amazing.
about it is, from what little you've described of it, because I haven't heard anything about it. You have a lot of games where you have these huge, wonderful, open, seamless maps. Give it a matter of months or a year or whatever, and everybody's been everywhere. There's no place in the game where some other person hasn't been. You make something as big as an actual planet, and you're going to have a long time go by before everyone's been everywhere, especially if you limit travel and make travel somewhat realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if this is to
That could open
full
up
scale,
adventure.
The oceans are going to be the biggest obstacle if this is to full scale.
Imagine that. Imagine how cool that would be if like they took an engine like this, put it into some type of science fiction or fantasy game where you have to go X amount of 1,000 miles out to sea and then down however many feet underwater, and you find some, underwater, like in Atlantis or something, but it's in this totally ridiculously remote place that not everybody knows about.
Build an
And
epic
don't make
space
it easy.
adventure with this engine, and I'm done for life. That's it.
Imagine that married with what's that one coming out, Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just thinking the same thing.
Because that's the game I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for 2025 or 2030 or 40 when it finally comes out. That's what I'm waiting for.
Dude, he's gotten more money than he ever wanted.
I hope he does it. I hope he does it. I hope he succeeds. That's the one I'm waiting on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll probably next game talk we'll probably do a nice in-depth discussion of Star Citizen. I forgot to add that one, but it's kind of like it's really far out too, so
You don't add the one that I actually have in I'm in alpha.
That's how it works,
Oh, well, I think me and Kaz and you are in the alpha. Aren't you signed up, Kaz, for that? Didn't you pay him?
I'm signed up. I just haven't gotten around to it. I know.
Is it
I have
out?
40 hours of OT.
The alpha's not out yet.
Yeah, it is.
Nuh-uh.
Krad, didn't they start alpha invites like a couple weeks ago?
Thought they did, yeah.
I haven't gotten in, but yeah, but it's just a matter of time if you contributed.
I did contribute. Bought the 35. Got me my nice digital scout, sucker. Anyway. I think that's a good note to go out on, guys. Otera. The game engine of the future. Planetary engine, not level engine. Planetary. Blowing everyone's mind here in the gaming
I
world.
just Googled. It's all a hoax. He's been busted.
Huh?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Mark, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, you're going to crush my whole friggin' dream right there. Anyway. I'd
Like
like...
kept that going, Krad.
Yeah,
I know. I couldn't do
should
it.
have.
I heard his voice, and I love the guy too much, and he sounded like he was going to have an aneurysm.
I was going to be sad if it was a hoax, but... No, you can go to the
Mark, I
website and
would've kept it
download the
going
damn thing.
At least 45 seconds.
I'd have been like, bullshit, I could download the demo right here.
Dude, I was thinking about telling him some different Google searches. No, look this up in Google. No, that's not it. That's not it. No, look this up. And I said, I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do it.
All right, well, with that evil joke played on me, that was Game Talk. I'd like to thank Kazook for joining me tonight, and I'd like to thank Krad for showing up late, and I'd like to thank Luna for joining us tonight as well. It was fun, guys.
It was really fun. I like this.
Okay. Thank you, Krad. All right, guys. Have a good
I'm
night.
here for you.
I think it's time we load up some Rust. Or figure out what the hell's wrong with the damn
Are we
server.
playing Rust or?
Well, maybe, I guess, if I can... Well, or maybe I might fix that tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe it's DayZ time. I don't know. Something. We need to play something. So,
Or Smite.
Oh, gosh. Please, no. Not Smite. I suck so bad at Smite.
Don't get me started on Smite. I want that game to be so much more. I liked it. I like Smite. I was like, oh wow, it's kind of like WoWish meets your MOBAs and whatnot. It's a little more immersive. I like the gameplay more than the point and click. It's just the maps are a little too small, and I want bigger maps. I want a little bit more players, and I just want it to be a little bit more. I just feel, if you're going to alter it from a MOBA as much as you have, go a little bit further. But I'm not trying to bash it.
I'm
I
actually
like
just
it.
getting ready to go play some Battlefield.
Oh, Battlefield. That's a possibility, too.
Battlefield.
I've been having trouble running it, though, lately. I don't know why. Like, any other time, it would run smoothly.
You
but...
and everybody else.
Oh.
It's just... it's one of those scenarios where they way rush the game, but it is fun despite the 1 billion bugs, and you badmouth DICE. I know I do, and I'm like, I'm never going to buy their product again. And then I see a Battlefront trailer, and I'm like, I'm a whore, and I will get that day one.
Well, I haven't played Battlefield. I mean, it's kind of late to get into anything else right now, so... Why not? Yeah, let's do some Battlefield 4. Luna, do you have that? Krad?
I don't.
Nah, I don't have it.
Why not?
I'm going to geek out and be a fanboy, and I'm still playing WoW right now.
Anyway, last
I have
time.
my guild.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Game Talk tonight. We'll probably do this again in February when I get back. I had a lot of fun with everybody that's here. So yeah, thanks, and that's the end of Game Talk.
And Elmer says, don't touch little boys.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That is a terrible idea to touch little boys. Just saying. If anyone's considering that, don't do it. It's a very bad idea.